Going to match number 4 now, we have bloodyface versus Fr0zen. Fr0zen protecting his paladin, bloodyface with the priest ban priest strategy. And once again, Malygos Druid being banned because of the fear of Malygos against all the other combo decks.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that we haven't seen it yet, because it is a deck that kind of only recently cropping up, right? Malygos Druid as an archetype in general obviously has a long history in Hearthstone, but this particular version, that can at least burn people, as Sam was saying, for like 70 damage in a turn, sounds pretty sweet.
Wait, no, I read the graphic wrong. Bloodyface was banned.
Oh, okay, just kidding then.
So therefore, Fr0zen's the one that has Malygos. But, your true colors have showed, Kilber. You want to see some Malygos action.
I mean, I'm not one who usually wants to say, you know what, I want to see the combo deck, but this is a new one. This isn't one that I have personally seen very much already. And frankly, name a more iconic duo, Fr0zen and Malygos Druid, right? It goes back years.
Absolutely. Kind of funny that the year that Fr0zen didn't play Malygos Druid was the year that he got second in the World Championship, because Jade Druid and Token Druid were...
he qualified for that with Malygos Druid.
Yeah, right. Just that it wasn't part of the play. I think people were looking at specifically the big spell mage mirror.
Yeah.
It was part of the really fun part. When everyone could turn to Death Knights and channel these incredible energies granted by the Lich King and then just basically destroy everyone in Hearthstone. Going into the first game here, looks like Fr0zen's going to be playing that Malygos Druid. We're going to look to see how good it is against the field and whether or not it's worthy to be banned. I've played a lot of this game, and I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I think having Elise be consistent is a huge boon to this deck as well, especially because having it be random felt like it was sometimes just, okay, well, 50% chance to land this or like 25% of this. Overall, the Malygos Druid feels really good, and I gotta say that I like that, because personally, Malygos Druid has been my favorite combo deck of all time, out of all the combo decks, and I feel like it's always been a really cool one.
Yeah, I mean, this particular build has probably the highest ceiling of any Malygos combo that we've seen. I mean, theoretically, you could have Geppetto into Malygos and copy your Malygos and your Moonfires and swipes and everything, and Malygos, Moonfire.
Even more, right? Because you can Elise a Floop, and then Floop the Elise and just get like 6 Moonfires or 8 Moonfires.
But the positioning of it in your hand means you have to play a lot of the stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, so exactly. It's weird.
It really is
a weird deck.
It really is one of those just like math equations flying over your head kind of things, and you're trying to figure out what can I actually do this turn, right?
Zach Galifianakis.
Exactly.
I actually do wonder if there's like something that's like pretty interesting where you play Elise, you Moonfire once, and then you like Floop, and then you have to Moonfire twice, and then next time you do the same exact thing.
I don't know.
It's certainly strange. Lots of real big possibilities in combos there.
Yeah.
I remember that in testing for Seers of Old-Doom, I heard a story that Chalky was breaking the format internally with Elise. And when Elise was revealed, everyone said, this card looks really good, but there's just no way there's like a real deck. It's really open-ended. Everyone's like, Elise is just kind of bad. We won't play it, or kind of a meme or tech card. And every time I was like at the Blizzard, I was like, it's going to, when they find the deck, they're going to realize how insane Elise is.
Well, I think one of the big things about Elise, and frankly Zephyrus too, is that a lot of people looked at these are like, they think of them as the sort of Reno cards. Oh, you have to play them in singleton decks. And we saw, Zephyrus and, now Elise going into these decks that have multiple copies of things that just have a lot of draw power. And, you can still play your deck that has its consistent early game and its consistent key, cards like Nourish that get you to that late game. And suddenly your late game is incredibly powerful because Elise magnifies it so much. It will be game number 1, bloodyface versus Fr0zen. And it will be the priest versus druid. Bloodyface with a pretty powerful opener there. We see the cleric Tolvir, the dynamic duo that caused so much trouble, while Fr0zen going to be on the coin with the untapped potential.
Yes. So now it's time to see if Fr0zen can channel his roots and utilize combo druid decks to get back on track. Fr0zen started off 3-0 to start off the season. Now it's 3-3. It's been kind of a little bit of a downhill. Northshire Cleric on 1. I feel like every priest we've casted today, Kibler, has had Northshire Cleric on 1, and most of them had Tolvir on 2.
Yeah, I think some of them played their Light Warden on 1, but I think we saw one Light Warden on 1, which there was also a Cleric in the hand that was able to heal the Light Warden after he got powered shielded, but...
Yes, you're right.
It's been in every opening hand, I believe, for Priest. That's where she belongs. Bloodyface deciding, does he want to just play the Tolvir here or just protect this Cleric with powered shield?
Quickly.
Yeah, he is mindful of the threat of Wrath.
Picks up an extra arms. Or the Expedition. Starfall Cenarius Crystal Power. Already has a Starfall.
So, well, Crystal Power does not work very well. From what... I've never taken Crystal Power off of any Discover or any options there, but from what I've been told is that it actually deals and then heals it back up and has some weird interactions, like if you kill the minion versus if the minion stays alive through the overkill.
Huh. I mean, one interesting thing I think is just the fact that it is a cheap removal spell early, and that's I think what he's looking for here. He just wants a Crystal Power so he can try and deal with something that comes down on one of these early turns.
It's like better.
Right.
Pre-quest.
Yeah.
Than it is post-quest, which is just like the interesting dichotomy. Now that being said, extra arms, problematic card.
Behold, jewels of the sun.
Priest still giving Druid fits because that early game start.
Yep.
And it looks like it's gonna get even worse for a little bit.
Yeah, the silence picked up too, so Bloodyface, if he wants, can just ignore this Crystal Merchant and just send more damage to the face.
I like it.
I wonder.
I also like the injured Tolvir heal here in this spot.
Sure.
And then silence.
I've got more left in me.
Yep. Stop that. Get that in.
Oh, wow. Bloodyface.
Oh, my.
Next turn has 18 damage from the more arms, extra arms.
I mean, this is Druid, and this Druid without Naturalize, so the ability for this deck to deal with, even if you just more arms Divine Spirit and don't actually, topsy-turvy it, you just get a 14 health minion that your opponent is just never going to be able to remove, really.
All right, what's the play here? So next turn, we're coming up on the Oasis Surge return. So if you want to get this Tolvir up to at least 6 life. So that looks like a more arms on the 2/5, bump the 1/4 and heal it, and then draw a card. Or you can even just ignore the 1/4 and go face.
Right.
Kind of what you're saying.
Well, if you make it a 4/7, you make it a you'd only make it a 4/9 then, which would still die into the Oasis Surgers, right? If you do more arms and heal.
I think it becomes a 4/8 because it doesn't gain 2 life.
Oh right, yeah. So not even 4/9. Oh, that was a really good draw.
Yeah, but now the cleric can finally die for.
No, it can't. It's just gonna kill you. Oh, it can Starfall, sure.
Which I think is fairly important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, now you have double Divine Spirit in hand, though. So if he does just Starfall, you can never set Divine Topsy for 20. That's only 24, 25, 26. It's not lethal.
I wonder.
Fr0zen picked up the Nourish. I wonder if he's thinking about going for Nourish here and says if he draws lethal, he draws lethal. But I'm going to try to ramp up and capitalize on the following turns. Deep in the tank. What's remaining in the deck? A lot of cards that he could utilize, but none of them that would be able to answer this current early game start from the Priest.
I mean, Druid is just really poorly equipped to deal with really high health minions snowballing to this degree. Especially when they're backed up with the North Star Cleric. So much health. Nourish.
Fr0zen's playing the percentages. It's unlikely that bloodyface has the game-ending combos, but he's got it.
Yep, that's
just
going
to do it.
32 damage right there from bloodyface. Divine Spirit, Topsy.
Yeah, Priest is really good at pressuring Druid because of this, and Druid doesn't have much time. If Fr0zen was able to get this off a turn earlier, perhaps a different game. But if he does go for the Starfall, it would have been a lot different of a situation, that's for sure. And I think it goes to show you the power of Northshire Cleric once again. Bloodyface takes game number 1. And Malagos Druid falls. The cool Dex killer. They're just getting wrecked today.
They are. I am sad that the sweet decks are like 0% when I want them to be 100%. But I mean that matchup is certainly not why you play Malagos Druid. Much like the Shaman matchup is not why you play the Plot Twist Warlock deck. So they are just kind of running into the decks that they are weak against in the sort of standard metagame.
Now you know why they're not tier 2 or even some considered to be tier 3. Maybe that's why they're tier 4 and below. Proceed with caution when you play these decks. But that's only game number 1 of the series. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to see if Fr0zen can turn it around or bloodyface end it quickly 2-0.
Legends say powerful treasures are hidden everywhere here in Aldum.
If we hope to defeat Rafam, we'll need as many as we can get. He's already unleashed the ancient plague lords and countless monsters. Keep them distracted, Reno.
Not a problem. This plan is totally gonna work. Ain't that right, Finley?
Oh, yes! I have them right where I want them!
There is an artifact here. The name is...
The Scales of Justice! Oh, it must be really fancy!
only to be used in a time of great peril. Yes, I think this qualifies.
Hey, look, Finley! You've lured one of the Plague Lords!
Take this, fiend!
In the face! Yeah! Hey, guys! Get that treasure! We've got a Plague Lord to destroy!
Yes, please, hurry!
Not to worry, Finley! We just push this thing right here.
No, that's a trap! Watch out!
It's all good. I am totally tired.
Gracious me!
What we actually need to do is press this. And there.
A fish. No, it's the Scales of Justice.
Oh. Ah, who wants to use it first?
Oh, I do. Me. On second thought, maybe give it to Finley.
All you had to do is hold a rope.
Here we go, blaming the tall, ruggedly handsome guy again.
Hello, my name is Fr0zen. I play for Team Liquid, and my Twitter handle is @LiquidFr0zen. I came up with my username because it's very cold in Michigan, and I added the 0 instead of the O because it looks cool. I'm most looking forward to being able to play at the highest level every single weekend, being able to compete against some of the best players in North America. I think regionally, performance-wise, Europe has been a step ahead of us, slightly better than America's. But I think that APAC, even though they have a lot of solid players, they are overall weaker than North America. So if I were to rank the regions, it would be EU first, NA second, and APAC third. If I could design a Hearthstone card, it would probably be 1 mana, 0/8. Whenever your opponent's rope burns, they take 5 damage. I've always tried to be the best and do whatever it takes. Hard work, a lot of practice. I think that's what really translates in Hearthstone as well.
Bloodyface currently up 1-0 over Fr0zen, who is going to stay on his Malygos Druid, and then we have Bloodyface that's transitioning to an OTK Paladin. What the heck's going on with my voice?
It's like, now.
What is happening to me?
Bloody face,
Kibler, I don't
You're turning
feel
into
so
Rafam.
good.
You're turning into Rafam.
Mr. Kibler, I don't feel so good. I'm about to turn into a Titanic lackey. That's what's about to happen.
Am I about to sacrifice myself?
You're about to
for the good
snap. And I just disappeared to a million pieces.
I don't like where this is going. What are the implications for me?
Could you Thanos snap the broadcast length, please? All the warrior mirrors. Boom. There you go. Just like that.
Hasn't worked yet.
We're halfway through the series. Bloodyface is the Paladin coming up next. OTK Paladin versus Malygos Druid. 2 combo decks go at it. 2 decks that are furiously trying to draw through to fatigue and combo. You heard from saying that he feels like it goes through faster than Holy Wrath Paladin. But Holy Wrath Paladin draws so fast. It can deck out by like turn 7 or 8.
It can. I mean, part of it is what you need to accomplish in order for your combo to be complete. It's not just a matter of like how quickly do you draw your deck. Part of it is a matter of you know, how quickly do you assemble the tools that you need and the game state that you need to win. And the Druid, it has a lot more pressure than the Paladin does. You know, it has the ability to get in the board and force the opponent to deal with Oasis Surges. They can't just use their turns just to set up their combo and just to get that going. Whereas the Druid isn't really under any kind of meaningful pressure from the Paladin.
Yeah, I think the Paladin at best can present like
3
Wild
points of damage on the board, right? It's like, I got you. I'm gonna get you. Here's a silver hand recruit.
It's true silver champion. It's like its strongest one individual attack, you know. And
yeah.
So it's a very unusual thing to see the Paladin pressure. Meanwhile, the Druid does have the actual game plan, and I was telling a little bit about it before. A lot of times I win without Malygos, right? I don't need Malygos. Maybe I just like stick board presence, and then because I have like extra Moonfires and I have War Druid Lodi, I just like got there.
Right.
So you know, you don't really need that. Versus the Paladin, usually ends the game in one way. The only other way that it wins outside of Holy Wrath is like fatiguing their opponents and like controlling the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really interested to see both these decks have a chance to really play out, in particular the Malygos Druid. We've obviously seen Holy Wrath Paladin a lot. It's one of those popular decks in the America's Grandmaster region right now. But this Druid deck, you know, it is more of a unusual choice, and we haven't seen it get its job done in the same way.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of think that if this deck is designed to beat the combo decks and it doesn't beat OTK Paladin, might have to go back to the drawing board. But Europe's had some pretty decent success so far. People who brought Malygos Druid have been doing okay with it. We saw Asia Pacific. I believe Shaxi was the one really pushing Malygos Druid over there. Funny enough that the week that everyone brings Malygos Druid, Shaxi, who played Malygos Druid for weeks, chose not to bring it. A little bit of a weird situation there, but either way, we're going to be finding out the answer fairly soon. And we did have a little bit of a tech issue. Fr0zen, I think, got knocked off a line.
I was trying to figure out where Fr0zen was playing from. It looks like the entryway of like
the old Evil Geniuses Super Team House back in StarCraft 2. Yeah, it was like, I mean, Fr0zen, I think, lives in Michigan. He lives like 30 minutes from Firebat. And in the past, whenever Firebat lost internet, because apparently in Michigan they have even more internet outages than you did back in Southern California. We don't talk about those times.
Yeah, those times like a week and a half ago.
Firebat would often like call Fr0zen up and be like, "Hey, can I drive to your place and record a bunch of like Deck Doctor videos for OmniSlash or like stream?" And Fr0zen would be like, "Yeah, sure." So they experienced, and then vice versa. Sometimes Fr0zen's internet went out and went over to Firebat's place. So it feels like they have a couple of internet issues over there.
Well, I have now dropped 0 total frames since I moved into my new place. 0
over the course of a week.
Yeah, a week and a half of streaming.
That's
I have had absolutely no internet issues, so praise fiber.
Do you have gigabit internet?
I do. It is as beautiful as I imagined.
I'm jealous.
And I'm streaming like twice the bit rate that I was before. It's amazing.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
And now I feel really bad about myself. Thank you.
Hopefully Fr0zen can get himself some fiber like between games, if his internet is going down.
That was not a weird flex. That was a very sick flex. I am now very sad.
It is funny like how much you realize like, wow, my life is just appreciably so much better because of this small thing. It's actually turned out to be a big thing.
If your career is based off the internet, having good internet seems to be like a very valuable thing to have.
It is very important.
All right, looks like Fr0zen is in the game and back online, so everything is ready to go. Thankfully, no disconnects, but we'll be in there momentarily. In the meantime, coming up next, we also have ETC versus Eddie. ETC also playing the Mechathun Warlock, the OTK Paladin Warrior Priest combination, and he needs a lot of help. ETC and Strife are sole possessors of last place. They are both 2 games behind 6th place.
Is that really sole possessors? They're together.
There are joint possessors
Like,
of
let's just
last
use
place.
words mean things.
They are
They're striving to not be
only
last
2
place.
people that own a 1-5 record currently.
There you go. There you go.
And one of them is going to improve to PNC race tier, and one of them is going to potentially drop even further. Of course, ETC is going up against Eddie, who is fighting for a 1st place spot against Naoki Don, as Eddie, Firebat, Muzzy also rounded the top 4 there.
I do want to say that I'm sad that Firebat deceived us and told us that he would be playing today, and now I'm not going to get to cast sort of an Omni-Stone match.
No, that's right. I was hoping Firebat would win and then join us for a brief interview, and then we can just do an impromptu episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Where all of our audio cuts out, and the usual tech issues.
Exactly.
Then a Who's meme reigns supreme.
I mean, right now we're getting our tech issues from Fr0zen, who is, apparently Firebat's neighbor, basically. But he looks like he's back into the game. And it will be, as we mentioned, the Malagos Druid deck up against the Holy Wrath Paladin from bloodyface. Apparently the solution to internet problems is you can't be visible on webcam.
Yeah.
All right, well, the keep of the Oasis Surger and the Expedition from Fr0zen. I mean, one of the things about this, we were talking about this matchup and how quickly each deck gets online. One of the obviously very powerful things about the Quest Druid is if your opponent doesn't pressure you, you get your quest online very easily, and Holy Wrath Paladin not exactly a deck that pressures you very much, and suddenly you start to get these draw 3 plus gain 2 manas online. It's gonna be coin into the Crystal Merchant here. Decides that he doesn't need the quest online. I like this a lot. This is recognition of what matters in this matchup. What matters is not Oasis Surger on 5. What matters is getting to the cards that do powerful things, and getting the Crystal Merchant online, especially against a deck that's going to struggle to deal with it for several turns, is extremely powerful. Draw going. We talk about how does the Druid deck draw faster than the Priest or the Paladin deck, and well, right there, Crystal Merchant.
Yeah, Crystal Merchant is super important for Fr0zen to just keep up that card draw source. The deck doesn't exactly play any more card draw than usual. It's just that when you can focus on drawing cards only, the deck does that super well.
Right.
And the one thing that it has that's very versatile is the ability to life gain, so it can even get outside of the combo ranges of certain decks.
Yeah, Druid of the Claw giving Fr0zen a bit more reach available to him, or the ability to battle for the board. Prismatic Lens, obviously a very good draw from bloodyface here, lets him pick up 2 cards from his deck. Another Lens available as well.
Another
and Howl.
Card draw. Big stuff. Ferocious Howl being a big nuisance too for bloodyface.
Yeah, oh absolutely. It means that Fr0zen's that much further out of range of a single Holy Wrath. And just churning through his deck.
Okay, it's the call.
The call can be a very relevant tool here, get you out of range of their burn. But as we were hearing from Stan earlier, this is a deck that can do a lot of damage thanks to Elise shenanigans.
So swipe.
Actually,
but if he swipes,
he's gonna burn a card, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could possibly just not get his quest online this turn. Druid of the Claw, kill this.
I wonder.
Or just play Starfall, yeah. Yeah, Starfall enables the Anubis Theft Defenders. He doesn't get a card, he doesn't get a quest progress, but he does get a lot of stuff on the board. And this also just gives him taunts that can possibly just protect this Crystal Merchant. Not that there's I mean, basically only be like true Silver Champion that would take it out. And that hasn't come down the previous 2 turns where it could have been possible.
Yeah, bloodyface does have the card draw,
I wonder.
but he has to make sure that the board doesn't get way out of control. And plus, it's been a while since the Crystal Merchant's drawing cards.
Yeah.
Let's shut it down.
I do like the recognition from Fr0zen in terms of deviating from the, ensure I get my quest online every single turn, right? Because some players may just look at, okay, I'm playing Quest Druid, I can't spend all my mana until my quest is complete. And, it's now going to be several turns past that point before he actually gets the quest completed online. Just recognizing that's not what's important right now, and that's not what's important in this matchup. What's important is, using his cards efficiently, getting that card draw, and not possibly overdrawing and losing his Malagos.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder.
The easy way to instantly lose the game, it feels like. Even though it wouldn't be the case, you'd still have a lot of game.
There's no reason to take the risk.
Bloodyface invests the consecration to deal a little bit into the board. True of the Claw.
Where shall I strike?
Get him.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and he's just chipping away at this armor, and overall, Bloodyface total life available, which is pretty valuable when you keep in mind just that his goal is to just do a bunch of damage from hand. Another Ferocious Howl picked up, even more that Bloodyface will need to chop through. Basically, is going to be on the must Holy Wrath face twice plan.
Okay, well, there's a 1-mana Hammer of Wrath that I kind of want to use. It's really cheap, so I'd like to start with that if I'm Bloodyface. Also, Crystology is just like too many cards being drawn, and it fills up your hand too much.
Yeah, I mean, it is a slightly awkward position right there.
I wonder if Bloodyface wants to use a Shrink Ray in this position instead, and then go for like more card draw. Because he can dump an expensive spell and then just free up his hand to play Crystology and Hammer of Wrath.
Yeah.
Another alternative is just like play Elven Archer for 4. Oh.
I must move quickly.
Crystology when his hand's already full.
Well, the Crystology he just overdraws one of them.
Sure.
Alright, Hammer of Wrath.
Yeah, I would rather have Crystology and then like shoot down if
My hand is too full.
So willingly dumping a piece of card draw. The deck just draws too much, Kibler.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, really, is he'd rather just overdraw a minion that he knows is not really that central to his game plan, rather than end up not being able to play out these cards that he feels like he needs to, and then also possibly overdraw something.
How much damage is this? It's 2 Draw the Claws plus a Crystal Merchant, that's 9. Plus a swipe, that's 13.
Power takes measure.
Order loading the swipe in the face.
Yeah. Well, he does lose out on the Druid of the Claw follow-up, but that's okay.
Well, that's still available later if he wants it. Oh, no, the Druid of the Claw specifically from
Yeah,
that.
from the flute.
The flute.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is what it is. Swipe
I mean,
face.
this puts significant pressure on the board. Leaves him with spell damage, too. It does not allow him to get a card from the Crystal Merchant. But, now there's 9 life left for Bloodyface. We're talking about how fast is this combo deck. It's like, it doesn't have to be a combo deck. You don't have to necessarily draw through your deck. You can just beat them up.
It's a mid-range deck that has a combo finishing game plan. And, Fr0zen has 7 damage from the hand, too, with the swipe and the Moonfire, plus this 2 spell damage. So Bloodyface has to time out here, I think, in order to guarantee survival.
I hope you like my invention.
And if he does not time out, he is vulnerable to die. Bloodyface has 2 Novice Engineers. Seems like a good timeout candidate to me.
Not going to have much more time if you don't take time out right now.
accurate analysis. It's also a very poignant metaphor to live by.
So true. So true.
Fr0zen can Wrath and then draw 2 cards of the Crystal Merchant. He's currently
Yeah.
at 8 cards. That would put him at 10. It's a little bit overkill or overdraw. I do think that partially you are mindful of how much your opponent can heal. But I also feel like drawing deeper into your deck is really good, so you can always follow up on whatever bloodyface is playing.
Yeah, I mean, the Wrath here does get him, just get him a little bit further through his deck. Looks like he's right. Interesting.
Time waits for no one.
Just attacking. I think here he's just saying, okay, well, you're gonna have to use some sort of board clear on this anyway. So I'm just going to expose this, draw some cards. I'm a little curious why he didn't choose to just Wrath rather than attack with the Crystal Merchant and just leave both up. Maybe he was afraid that he would just get time outed again and then overdraw the next turn. But then if you get time outed and then even if you overdraw, you can just Moonfire something. Be threat of overdrawing.
Right.
Or just play out an Oasis Searcher because you're not going to overdraw immediately.
It's like an opportunity for bloodyface to drop the Shrink Ray. He saw 1 swipe, so the threat is Moonfire, swipe, Moonfire with a Floop Lodi. And that's a very specific combo.
Must move quickly.
Man, I wonder if he just needs to Shrivala here for life.
Possibility.
Shrink Ray Shrivala Banker it. His Crystal Smith Kangor being 4 is slightly awkward for him.
Yeah, I like the Shrink Ray here.
Alright, Shrink Ray Consecration.
I like the Consecration.
Yeah, he is very unlikely to die from the spot, and it doesn't involve Malagos. Ooh. That could involve
potentially
Malagos.
Big pickup, yeah. There's not many minions left in the deck.
Oh no. Yeah, there's a Dream Petal Forest, there's Malagos, there's an Elise.
Malagos goes to 1 mana.
Oh god.
And now Fr0zen just has lethal.
I mean, is
next
Elise
turn.
like active too, I think? So he can actually do the ridiculous thing. I mean, they're on the wrong side of his hand, but he has to play out the other stuff in order to actually just get the copied Malagos. But
Yeah, next turn he has Malagos, flooped Malagos, swipe, Moonfire.
he can like innervate Wrath his own guy, right? To actually just
Oh,
get...
stop to heal. Oh, no, it doesn't kill.
No, well, Innervate Wrathing this allows him to just get his Elise and Malagos, rather Malagos specifically, closer to the left side of his hand, so that if he can Elise it.
Right.
It also just uses his mana and draws more.
Yeah, I thought that he still had the spell power for some reason, the spell damage, so he'd be able to kill it
to prevent
to stop a Shrivala.
Yeah, prevent a Shrivala,
Yeah,
sure.
I thought that was the case, but I forgot that it got cleared the previous turn.
I mean, there's still just Malagos, Geppetto, or Malagos Floop, swipe, Moonfire for 1,000,000 damage.
Yeah, that's plus 10 for each, plus 5, so 25 damage.
Yeah. That's like without copying anything, right?
Yeah.
That's just flooping. That doesn't involve Elise at all.
I wonder.
I don't know of too many ways
If
for
you-
Bloodyface to get pulled out of the situation here.
So he can Malagos, floop it. Elise gives him an extra Moonfire. So he just has
Move quickly.
35 damage next turn.
The light
I think.
Yeah, it's Kangor plus Shrivala.
It's time to test true metal.
It's like, oh, you're gaining 14 this turn. That's adorable. You're like overkill double.
Well, he's gaining 18.
Okay, still really dead, I think. Right?
Goes up to 27. I think he's alive by a little
No, he's not. Malagos, floop it. Elise copying.
Elise is
Elise is
active
active,
now.
yeah. So Malagos, floop it, Elise, and then you have 15 just from Moonfires, and then another 14. You have 29, am I right? I think.
I mean, it sounds right.
I wonder.
I don't know what the top end is.
I
but
think you're 100% right. You just play everything. Malygos, you play the flute, you innervate, you swipe. I mean, just to make sure to guarantee it. 14.
Yeah, 14 from this. Elise. Just make as much room so you can copy all of these. But yeah,
Waits for no
2
one.
Moonfires. Each of them are 11 damage.
Very fitting thematic
35.
music to wrap it up, and that is going to be game number 2 over to the Malygos Druid, just to show you why this deck is to be feared.
Yeah, that was just 35 damage.
Very casual.
Boom.
Through armor.
Yeah.
So even if he like healed up to 35 with 5 extra armor, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, and he still had Moonfire's deck, and he could have still like at least more of those things if he really needed to. He could have, if he needed to take more time to do more damage, he could have like, played out those Oasis Surgers so he gets like, extra Malygos, extra Floop. Boom.
After an expansion where Druid really didn't have much going on from Rise of Shadow, it seems like Druid is a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Oh, there's some crazy stuff going on. There's some crazy stuff, and
have you seen the APM Druid that plays the bees
yes,
and the
yeah,
pounces?
Floop's Glorious Gloop bees your own Elise repeatedly to just keep gaining mana and keep flooping and Elising and just pounce them
pouncing,
to like,
yeah.
and you can bees their taunts and eventually just kill them with pound. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's really hard to pull off. TJ and I have tried to do that combo collectively about 5 or 6 times together, and we've never successfully pulled it off. But we have one. Just we always mess up something. It's a fairly tricky deck. Not really the case here. Malygos Druid just gets it cleanly done with the swipes and the Moonfires. Now we go into the potential, or the guaranteed last game rather. Shaman Paladin versus Warrior Paladin. Is there going to be an OTK Paladin mirror? Whoa. It depends. I think it depends on if bloodyface feels like the Warrior versus the Shaman is so bad that he doesn't want to play it. But I can definitely see Fr0zen going for Paladin here.
All right, well, Fr0zen looks to be going for Paladin. We'll see the yet another game of Shirvala and friends. And bloodyface on Control Warrior.
Ooh, bloodyface takes the risk. But granted, I feel like Shaman has a pretty good game plan against the Paladin as well. Kind of depends on who you really ask, but I'm sure that bloodyface feels very confident in the Control Warrior to just armor up and get past the health total.
Yeah, and he is playing the double frightened flunkies still, which gives him a little bit more of a proactive plan compared to some versions of Warrior. Those are a bit less powerful than they once were. You can't echo them quite as much anymore by just playing flunky to flunky to flunky.
With honor.
But there are 2 ways that each player can kind of, or rather the warrior can approach this. It's the, do I want to try to pressure you at all? Do I want to go with that plan, or am I just trying to gain as much armor as possible while keeping your board clear to protect that armor? And that plan typically requires the paladin to do some weird things in order to have a chance to win.
Yeah, Paladin is very dependent on Zephyrus in this matchup, in my opinion, to close out the game. And we'll see if Fr0zen can navigate his way through. Also, we've been seeing some players different ideology on how to play this. When we watch Purple play, he was hero powering on 2 instead of playing Flunky.
Sure, yeah.
And then when we see Gallon play, he plays the Flunky on 2.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, the difference in plans, right? Do you just rely on your armor to get you out of it, or do you want to try to force them to take their turns awkwardly because you have some amount of pressure on them? We'll see what direction bloodyface chooses to go. No real option here, though. Ooh, well, okay. Could have played a Town Crier on 2, but gonna go with the armor.
I hope you like my
Yeah, I think that's going to be a nod to maybe bloodyface taking a more defensive stance this game. You can Town Crier and hero power instead. Looks like a prismatic lens to me.
Yep, coin lens gonna get Fr0zen's card draw going.
Yep. This game might end up coming to a conclusion fairly quickly, even though it at first might feel like a slow matchup. You know, in like 8 or 9 mana crystals for Fr0zen, so turn 8 or 9, it's gonna start coming down to like how he sequences things to set up for the end game. Because looks like he's gonna be drawing a lot.
Both players clearly have a very distinct idea of what their goal is here, and are playing pretty quickly too.
Yeah. Bloodyface, if he stays on that line, will go for shield block and hero power here. But he can also play fight and flunky.
The shield block he can use pretty much any time. Flunky's going to give the maximum pressure right now. Hacklebot is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, pulling out Shirvala would be nasty. Well, that's game winning if he does that.
The Shirvala already safely in Fr0zen's hand, though.
Yeah, pulling Zephyrs, though, is equally important.
Almost an instant True Silver from Fr0zen. Takes a second to reevaluate. He can't just play a prismatic lens because his hand is full. And no use using the True Silver to hack away at the flunky. You want to try and get a damage to face with that. Very important you chip away their armor as much as you can.
Is this a turn to drop Hecklebot? I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit risky. Also, the later stages you go in the game, the more desperate they become to shuffle things. You can force out the Shirvala and then Hecklebot afterwards. Oh, he's going for it.
Face me, you cowardly clown.
What? You think you can take me?
And you know, what this does is it thins the deck a little bit for Fr0zen. He didn't really care about High Priest to call.
Right.
So this ends up being a good thing for him.
Yeah, he's totally happy to just have a free 3-4. Does look like Fr0zen decides, okay, well that's more than I want to see on the board though.
Yeah, you know, Warrior's not really super threatening with a lot of this, so I like where Fr0zen's head at. Just use some of his tools, heal, push damage.
Yeah.
The call coming in clutch.
Yeah, this actually been working out very well, getting some extra damage and actually already making Bloodyface bleed out damage through the armor.
Yeah, Bloodyface's game plan is not working out right now.
He
Does have
have
Super Collider.
Yeah, well, he also just has the Dynamatic right now. Just Dynamatic hero power. Clear off the board, get a body in play.
Light the fuses!
Prismatic lens, swapping.
Ooh, that's very big.
A
one cost
mana.
Holy Wrath. That opens up some extra opportunities.
I like that Fr0zen's not attacking the weapon to a 4 health minion. Just because he can doesn't mean he should.
The one cost Holy Wrath means you can Holy Wrath twice in one turn. You're able to
Yes.
play Shirvala, Holy Wrath, banker it, Holy Wrath your opponent's face, draw the Shirvala, banker it, Holy Wrath your opponent's face, and just do 50 in one turn.
Yeah, because the 2 bankers are 4 mana.
Right.
And the 2 Holy Wraths are now 6 mana. So you just play Shirvala, banker, Wrath.
Right. So the implications of that are actually pretty big in terms of how the game can possibly develop from this point. Normally you have to do 25, then 25. And there's the possibility of something like a Zilliax coming through and healing your opponent up. But this is the possibility of 50 burst in a single turn.
I wonder.
Yeah, there's not many ways for Bloodyface to go about tackling the situation here either. So
This place is scary.
it seems like Bloodyface is choosing the very passive route to developing again. Now, I was kind of wondering, like, is this a turn where you set up Snip Snap and do things like that?
All right, well.
Wow, so much respect.
Here's one of those bankers.
So what's important is that Fr0zen has activators and key combo cards with his AoE removal. So he has Shrink Ray and he has Quality, but he also has Consecration and Pyromancer.
I mean, the most important thing for Fr0zen here is just drawing as quickly as possible. If he's able to just draw through his deck before bloodyface is able to get to 50 armor, he can blow.
Job's done.
Every opportunity he has to get that damage in is valuable.
What can bloodyface do in this position? Does he just have to go on the aggressive? Like triple snip stab and just push face?
I feel like he's still in a position where he wants to have access to his hero power. I mean, even just double snip snap hero power is probably better than tripling it, just to keep getting the armor going. He did pick that unpowered steam bot, which you could just use to throw down and have just a lot of health in the way that he can potentially load with a snip snap on a future turn.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think I also like just the most stats being developed, to be honest. I don't really think there's many Omega Devastator targets either. Triple snip snap. It's gotta be the right play. Oh, he's getting
Double and shield slam. He wants to keep his life protected as much as possible. He shield slammed a recruit and armored up. That is respect.
Yeah. Subdue's already used too.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was a super heavy punish for it.
No, there's Shrink Ray.
Right, but I mean that costs an entire card removal. It does cost an entire turn though from bloodyface to redevelop
Reporting for
again.
duty.
Protect it with the Restless Mummy.
Yeah, I think if I'm bloodyface, I want to find a way to keep armoring up and putting on pressure. Double 4-drop seems fine here.
What now?
No tomb can hold me.
Devastator, though.
No tomb can hold
alright.
me.
Yeah, I think. I think part of him still feels like he needs to hold on to the Mega Devastator for a Magnetize or like a big elimination on like a Shivala. Whew. This consecration.
No tomb can hold me.
Only 5 cards left in the deck.
Yep, Fr0zen's very close.
He actually has... Oh, no, he doesn't have the second banker. So I was going to say he could just, like, Acolyte and, fire off...
Let me think.
I sort of like a consecration here because, well, one, it gets it out of your hand, but two, like, deals with the front half of everything. If you have Pyromancer and Equality, it's not going to kill off a Death Rattle on Reborn board. So
you actually end up with the same amount of power on the board if you consecration, right?
It's true. It's just that you're getting it out of the way.
I wonder.
So it's Warrior, right?
Yeah.
Warrior's dealing 7 damage.
Move quickly.
It does make your Pyromancer extra. Right.
I think I like that the best.
Can hold me.
I'm not sold on it, but it's just what I like. Ooh, okay. All right. We actually have some real pressure going on soon.
I mean, that, especially with the Zilliax in hand as well, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's just he's nowhere near the 50.
Right.
Not that he could know, right? Ah, yes, he can. He saw Elven Archer costed 5.
Yeah, that's true. The jig is up with that.
Yeah, there's only 2 options, which is Shrink Ray and Holy Wrath. And Shrink Ray was just played. So he should know that Holy Wrath number 2 costs 1 mana. With 2 timeouts, Fr0zen is almost there.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he could feasibly play both Acolyte and Blood Mage and timeout. If he can guarantee a draw for one of on both of them, he should have the combo on the following turn. Because then he timeouts again, and then he has the Shivala, shuffle, and go for 50. Alternatively, he can just Power Master quality right now. I think I like the double draw timeout play a little better. Yeah.
Pain speak to me.
Yeah. Right now, it's just basically counting turns. We're just clocking. Ooh, I like this too. This is really clever.
So this prevents the possibility of overdraws from the Acolyte, which is a pretty big deal, right?
Yes.
He couldn't overdraw the second banker.
It's a really good point, Killer. I like that.
And now he still has timeout, so he's just going to draw a card. Yeah, this game is just locked up by Fr0zen.
Yeah, the only way is if Fr0zen somehow magically whipped out a vicious Scrap Hound
Sure.
through a Mega Assembly, and then, like, it's
But
silly.
he has to get so much from it, though. Even, like, 7. It's like, okay, you're at 43, you're dead.
Yeah. You have to,
He'd have to do it this turn and hit with it twice. Have it not get killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, even if Fr0zen just, like, attacked his minions and timed out, it has nothing to attack next turn, you die.
It's going to be so sad. So our Megadillo's going to pump everybody up.
Our Megadillo is getting pumped.
He's gassing up his homies. And he's got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, bloodyface trying to find a way.
Yeah, and the ropes can start burning soon. And I think the inevitable countdown will continue. We are what looks like to be at a checkmate scenario.
Yeah. Because that Acolyte gets a draw, the natural draw, and then Shrivala, Baleful Banker, Holy Wrath, Baleful Banker, Holy Wrath in one turn.
I'm almost out of cards. Well played.
And that's going to do it.
I'm out of cards.
Shrivala hits the board. Double Banker. Double Holy Wrath. And that's a clean 50.
Just 50. What are you at? 38, no big deal. I do appreciate the fact that Fr0zen's combo decks can do so much more than 30. We just saw like, oh, what are you at? 38? Oh, what are you at? 35 doesn't matter. You are dead.
That's going to be game 3 over to Fr0zen, who rights the ship as he improves to a 4-3 record. And now bloodyface, who was in contention for first place in his division, is now going to be tied with Fr0zen for playoffs. So some movement happening over in that division. Job well done.
Yeah, and I did like to see, especially the Malagos Druid being part of that. As I was saying, Fr0zen and Malagos Druid have kind of gone together like peanut butter and jelly since he's been playing competitive Hearthstone.
Yeah, Fr0zen was a player, I believe, like you were saying, qualified for the championships through Malagos Druid back in the day. Playing that deck a lot. Actually, it was one of the decks he was messing up a lot. Back it was the Winter Championship in the Bahamas, and Fr0zen played pretty terribly, quite candidly speaking. And he was messing up, missing lethal, roping. Still ended up piecing things together and qualifying anyways. And when he showed up to the World Championship, remind everyone why he deserved to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it looks like we're trying to see if we can get Fr0zen on the line for an interview. Usually when they have their webcam, there's a couple tech issues, we skip past it, but we'll find out momentarily. But either way, the division standings were really close. Saiyan and bloodyface, I believe, were neck and neck at one game going for first place. And then just Saiyan beat bloodyface, and ever since then, bloodyface has struggled a little bit in order to piece it together. Let's go ahead and check in with Fr0zen, who is hot off his victory. Fr0zen, you there?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Nice. So glad that you're able to join us for a brief interview. So, it's another competitive year, and you're back to playing Malagos Druid. How's it feel?
Feels good, man. I actually like this variation. The thing is, I played bloodyface in the exact same matchup the day before, but I didn't want to show my deck, so he went Cleric Shield, and I just conceded. So, this time I saw it, and I was like, yep.
You got me. Ah, unbeatable hand. Nice. It's cool. Got it. So, did you collaborate with some other people? Because I know Saiyan and his practice group were bringing it together. Was somebody else helping you with this, or did it something you figure out yourself?
I believe I'm in the Hunter Ace Saiyan Orange group. I think we all won so far. Like, everyone in the group won so far. That looks pretty good.
I will verify that.
Well,
You are correct. Oh, yes, you are correct. Except for board control, because he went up against Bunny Hopper. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But either way, it really nicely done so far in the series. Let's talk a little bit about lineups this week. And some people are bringing Mech Cthulhu Warlock, some people are bringing Malagos Druid, but everyone's bringing OTK Paladin. What's with America's obsession with this deck?
I think we found out that this deck actually beats almost everything. I think the only... Let me think. Yeah, I can't really even think of a bad matchup for it. And the stats really don't show, but I've been an advocate of this deck for a while now. Even like if you look at the Warrior game, it wasn't even close, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have Weapons Project, and that's like something that really swings the matchup. So I wasn't really sure why he queued that deck up at the end. To be honest, I thought he would play the Mirror, but it was really nice that I hit the Warrior.
Yeah, a lot of players seem to feel like, oh, Warrior is just such a tough matchup for these burst damage combo decks. But we saw, you did 30+ damage with the Malagos deck and then 50 damage in one turn with the Holy FL deck. You're not really going to out-armor that. So, what do you think the Warriors can do to give themselves a better chance against it? Obviously, the Weapons Project you mentioned just now. I think he froze. Fr0zen is frozen. Oh, he moved
When
again.
you ask what Warrior can do against the OTK Paladin, it's like...
All right, my bad. That lag.
No worries. I guess, so you feel like Warrior is unfavored versus the OTK Paladin. Is that more of a deckless thing, or do you think that just doesn't really matter? That's just a matchup thing?
Deckless. Definitely deckless. You have to play ways to gain more armor. Like, for his deck, he only has 2 shield blocks and I believe Dr. Boom. So that doesn't actually gain enough, especially with chip damage and True Silver. So weapons projects are pretty key in the matchup. And I also play Zephyr, which I like a lot in the matchup as well. But yeah, his list is not, it doesn't gain enough armor, especially if I can do the OTK in 1 turn, because he can't even get the Ziliax armor.
Makes sense.
In that case, you just have to play the Dr. Boom and hope that you roll armor, and that's very, very inconsistent.
Yeah, Warrior seems to be in a very interesting place. The non-Warrior lineups are doing really well. We're probably going to try to keep track of that stat as the weekend continues. But congratulations, Fr0zen. Finally, the losing streak ends, and you're able to get on the positive side, and you're back in contention for top of the playoffs.
I've actually already lost more games than I lost the entire last season, so I hope I can.
It's all right. You got him out of the way. It's all uphill from here.
Also, I had to, my internet just died in the morning, so I had to go to a friend's house and play. So
okay.
We were trying to figure out where you were, because that doesn't look like a typical gaming station.
No. I'm basically with a laptop in like a desk in the middle.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you're in some other Airbnb in some exotic country around the world, Fr0zen. That's not, hanging out with your friends. All right. Well, congrats on your victory. We'll see you later this weekend.
Yep.
Fr0zen will be playing, I believe, on Sunday against Olay, the first match of Sunday that we mentioned, where it is a no Warrior matchup.
Yeah.
Woof.
Both the players talking about how they think that Warrior's, not necessarily the best place to be right now, and both of them winning. So
could be some further meta movement in the coming weeks of Grand